It's time to sip that coffee, get your mind right, and vibe with the queen herself. We're dishing out hot topics, wellness tips of the day, and things that make you go, Let's get this palace party started.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We are back for Wednesday morning corporate segment. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba, the facilitator of this platform. And on Wednesday mornings, honey, we talk all things corporate America. We talk corporate, baby. You never know. And today's topic is Black women are leaving corporate America. They are leaving the workforce at an accelerated pace. Just recently, within the past 90 days, y'all, over 300,000, that's a quarter million. That's a quarter million. A quarter million of Black women have left corporate America. They said, I am out of here. We not doing this no more. Get somebody else to do it. And I thought it was an appropriate topic for today. And we are going to talk about it. So salute to those of you that may be in that number that have been included in the labor force statistics. Yeah, they're leaving. They're out of there. And we're going to talk a little bit about it. If this is your first time over here for corporate segments, welcome. I hope you enjoyed today. We're also talking Melody Sheree. Yes, Melody Sheree is one of those women. Not in the past 90 days. She had not in the past 90 days, she's left corporate America. She left corporate America some years ago and was able to completely roll out her brand, become an entrepreneur, and a millionaire. She made her first $1 million by age 27. So it just goes to show that Black girl magic is real. Pull up a seat, y'all. We're going to talk. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. ABC News actually did like a 3-minute segment on Black women leaving the workforce. I love to see it. I like it. Listen, I'm a huge advocator of if it's not working for you, figure out what's exactly working for you. Because one thing you don't want to do is stay in a place where you don't feel welcome or valued, and then you take up space by complaining and or being negative and trying to disrupt or corrupt the environment around you. On Wednesday morning, and this applies to men too. So this isn't just specific to women, because take what you need from here in today's conversation and discard the rest. We have a rule over here when we talk about corporate America, your job, whatever it is, whatever you do. If you're going to stay, then you've got to play. If you're going to stay, learn the rules of the game and play. And some people are like, I'm not going to play the game. Then you're going to get swallowed up. Either you leave or you become extremely strategic. You sit back, you learn the rule of the game, you learn where the chess pieces are located on the chessboard, and then you make your best move. Your next move should always be your best move as it relates to corporate America. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank y'all for pulling up. I see everybody in the chat. We're going to get this party started. Recently, Melody Sheree was featured in Forbes magazine. Listen, you go, girl. You go, girl, Melody. Y'all, let me show you the article. We're going to review that together, and then we're going to get into the thick of it as it relates to Black women leaving corporate America. Give me 1 second. Let me share my screen so that you can follow along. Here we go. Here we go. Best body oils, according to Forbes. Oh, Forbes, don't do me like that. I know Forbes is not trying to make me. Hold on. Are they trying to make me join? Oh, Forbes, I am not joining. I'm not subscribing. Let me refresh. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, Forbes. Here we go. Best body oils for radiant skin, from budget to celebrity favorites. Recently, y'all, 2 days ago, Melody Sheree was featured in Forbes magazine for 7th Avenue Beauty, her beauty line, okay? They doing me real dirty. I may not be able to read the article. I'm going to do my best. It says hydration meets radiance. These Luxe body oils deliver the perfect post-sun glow just in time to soak up the last golden days of summer. As the season winds down, our skin, they're trying to make me join. I'm not joining. I'm not joining Forbes. But anywho, it says much of these renewed obsession with body oils or glowing skin routines can be traced back to Black TikTok creators. Thank you, Forbes. Don't you love it When these entities that are primarily or majority white give credit where credit is due, I'm here for it. Thank you, Forbes, for this wonderful feature. Y'all, I think it's something to talk about. It's lovely to see a woman who leaves a corporate structure and then ventures out on her own and makes things happen. Okay. With millions of views and growing fan bases, their routines have sparked a broader appreciation for intentional body care and the everyday ritual of glowing up. I've tested and reviewed the best body oils from lightweight. This is according to the journalist that rolled this out in Forbes. Everyday staples to indulgent glow enhancers that will keep your skin soft, smooth, and radiantly golden well into fall. And then she starts to highlight some of the top ones that she likes. And Melody's oil was featured. Melody's body oil was one of the favorites of the journalist that actually works for Forbes. It says 7th Avenue body oils, best for a rich glow with black girl luxury energy. Ooh. These ultra hydrating oils deliver a radiant, non-greasy glow and are infused with indulgent scents like coconut and rose, perfect for melanin-rich skin that deserves to shine. Come on, Forbes. Listen. Founded by Melody Sheree, entrepreneur and former star of Owns Love and Marriage, Huntsville, the line reflects her signature blend of glamour, intention, and everyday luxury. Kudos to you, Melody. Kudos to you and congratulations to you. So, listen, I am a huge fan of the body oil myself. I purchase it. I love the travel packs. I do. And it is non-greasy. So kudos to Melody for doing what she had to do as it relates to carrying out her vision for her beauty brand. Okay. So now we're going to skip to the article, y'all, that's featured by
To the economy
ABC
now, where
News.
staggering
Give me
numbers
one
have been
second. By ABC News. Here we go.
To the economy now, where staggering numbers have been released surrounding Black women in the labor force. A new report shows more than 300,000 Black women have left the workforce in just the last several months. That's according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Joining me now is gender economist Katika Roy to break this all down and why they're leaving. Katika, thank you so much for being with us. You recently
318,000 Black women have left the labor force in, we're going to say, about 90 days, y'all. That's huge. That is a huge, when you talk about revolution, something's happening. What do you think is happening? What do you think is happening? Is it the boomers? Is it Gen X? Is it the millennials? Is it Gen Z? Who built up the confidence to set the example? Let's see what they say. Hold on. Let me see. Here we go.
recently wrote an article where you say that this isn't happening by accident. Why do you think it is happening?
This is happening because of cuts to public sector positions. So if you look at the federal labor force, Black women make up just over 12% of the federal labor force. It's about double their representation in the labor force overall. And when you have targeted cuts up to 50% in organizations such as the Department of Education and HHS, you're not just trimming the fat, you're actually cutting the economic backbone for Black women.
Wow. And so
do y'all agree that this is specific to public positions? I think a great majority, but I don't think it's all public positions. I don't think it's all public positions. I think that may be a bulk of what she's seeing in the data, but I don't think 318,000 Black women all held public positions. Let's listen. Maybe she's going to say more.
So what are some of the spillover effects from all of this?
Well, one of the things that we know is that there is a connection between women's labor force participation and GDP. So just Black women's labor force participation has dropped by just over 2% in the last 3 months. And that has sucked over $37 billion out of US GDP. So this is the economic cost of gender policy ignorance.
This is really fascinating because do you think that most people are unaware of the actual impacts of things like this?
Absolutely. So when we often think about women's issues or Black women's issues, we think of it as an over there problem. It's not. It's an everybody problem. When our
I'm a pause. I know they're saying this is an everybody problem. This sucks. I'm going to say this. It should suck. It should suck. But I don't know if we are necessarily looking for somebody to save us. At least I don't want that to be the notion. Does that make sense? Because if they were going to save you, they would have saved you. They wouldn't have made the cuts in some of these public positions. What are your thoughts?
our economy grows, that has more jobs and more income for everyone. So we know, for instance, overall, that for every 1 percentage point that women leave the labor force, there's a $146 billion hit to GDP.
Oh my gosh. And so we've talked about the consequences, but is there an upside to all of this? Are we seeing women pivoting to entrepreneurship as they're leaving the workforce? What then are they doing?
You know, that's a great
Girl, we living. We are living, right? I hope y'all are living. I hope you're working. I hope you're discovering hidden talents. I hope you're pulling in some of those passion projects that you used to work on from the side of your desk. I don't want us to mourn the loss. I want us to seize the opportunity to do what we should have been doing in the first place.
Great question. And the truth is, we don't know where all of the 300,000 Black women that have actually been pushed out of the labor force have gone. We know that some of them have gone into entrepreneurship, which is not only because of luxury, but it's actually because of survival. In this
Listen, sometimes, like, I'm very technical. I pay attention to words. And even though this is a very informative segment, sometimes I don't use the words, the narrative, the negative depiction by terms and phrases that's used to describe us as a demographic. Hold on.
This is really a testament to their resilience, but it also shows the
So this is a white woman because she said their resilience, not our. ABC, you couldn't find somebody Black to speak a little bit that would have the knowledge and the inside scoop. See, that's the advantage of having the right people in the right places at the table. I'm not discrediting this woman or her expertise, but you couldn't find a Black woman that's in the field to speak to not only the data, but because she's Black, she has a little bit more insight or more intel on where Black women are, how they're positioning themselves, and how they're navigating their exit from the labor workforce. See, because this is good, but it could have been great if you would have found a woman of color to be able to speak to and create and give us a 360. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? The storytelling. So now we're going to walk away with big questions that this lady cannot answer or speak to because she just can't speak to it, unfortunately. Okay, I'm going to come back to that.
The rigidity in our traditional employment systems.
Are there any other groups that we are seeing largely impacted in this way in the labor workforce?
Not to this extent. So I track all of the data, as you can imagine.
So she's probably an informatics person, right? Typically, when you look at data and analytics, you have informatics. So she's probably works in informatics, data analytics, where she takes the data, she comes out, she makes it make sense outside of a PowerPoint, and she creates the story for you. There are also women of color that work in informatics that can tell the same story. Now, ABC, you started off good, but you got to go deeper. If you pretend that I'm a client, because typically women like this or men like this that are in these positions, when they build this data to be able to tell a story, they anticipate questions that will come through from the client that's seated across from them. Let's pretend we're clients. I want to know where they're going as a client. If I were a corporation and a big majority of my workforce were cut and they happen to be very talented African-American women, I would want to know, where are they going? Are they starting their own business? And the reason why that would be important is because did I utilize them in the best way as it relates to their skill set? And should I be able to reestablish a budget to hire again? I'll know exactly where to plug these women at the next time I'm able to recruit and or hire African American women and bring them back into the workplace. So this is good, but it's kind of sloppy and incomplete. I hope you, I know it's a little technical, but it doesn't give you the entire story. It doesn't. ABC, you got to come back.
Month over month by gender and race and ethnicity. And I started to see this trend about 3 months ago with this really precipitous drop in Black women out of the labor force. And this is a huge hit. And historically, just to give you a sense of,
it's a huge hit, but here's a perfect example of solutioning or the lack thereof. People are very interested in talking about Black people, Black women in particular, but they're not interested, and many aren't willing to go the extra mile to solution for them. This is a perfect example. I'm not trying to be negative, but this is just an opportunity to kind of massage the dialogue. She has the numbers, right? But she didn't drill down and peel back the layers to be able to see or send out surveys or try to track down these women to see what they're actually doing. Or speak to the corporations to go find those numbers. It's a lot of work, right? So I'm just trying to teach you something. A lot of people are very interested in us, talking about us, but not solutioning for us.
of the historical context, this is the first time in years that Black women's labor force participation has fallen below Latinas' labor force participation.
Wow. It's really fascinating to see these numbers, to hear you explain all of it and break down the real world impacts on our GDP and the economy at large. Katika Roy, thank you for what you do, and thanks for being with us.
Let me go back. I want to rewind just real quick. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I need to hear what she does. Give me 1 second.
Have been released surrounding Black women in the labor force. A new report shows more than 300,000 Black women have left the workforce in just the last several months. That's according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Joining me now is gender economist Katika Roy to break this all down and why they're leaving. Katika, thank you so much for being with us. You recently wrote an article where you say that this isn't happening by accident. Why do you think it is happening?
All right. So she gave us one dynamic of why this is happening, because it's important to talk about the why. Why are Black women leaving the workforce? Why are Black women leaving corporate America? I'm telling you, watch this. I'm at those tables when they solution. They'll say 85. Let me give you an example of how this works. Let's just say mental health. Oh, 85% of Black women are plagued by stress that measures off the charts. And then somebody at the table will say, why? We're not sure. Okay. How do we get that information? That's when you get the looks and the stares and the pushbacks, because nobody wants to dig a little bit deeper and engage that demographic and that population of people. That's too much work. I'm not interested in it. And typically in these rooms, you don't have somebody Black at the table, somebody close to that demographic, somebody that's adjacent, whatever, right? That can say this is important because. So the story is there, but it's not a complete story, is what I'm trying to say. It's a great talking point, but it's not a deep, compelling story. No, there is an answer. Nobody has the answer. There is an answer. She gave you one aspect of it. The answer is, and we've been talking, that's why I said if you're new here, we've been talking about it for a while. This isn't our first time broaching this topic. We've talked about this when it first started happening. I believe it was in February, March, April, May, June. We talked about this 5 months ago. Go back in February. Black women actually started leaving the workforce last November. There is a reason why, but guess what? ABC can't tell you. because it's considered taboo. So we're going to give you just enough to say we covered it, but we're not just going to get into detail because it's a very taboo subject. It makes people uncomfortable. And also we're the news media. So here's one reason. One of the reasons that Black women are leaving the workforce is because of job displacement. That's what this lady just covered, right? Due to federal cuts. But that's not the only reason. The second reason is systemic racism and sexism in the workplace. We talked about how Black women's biology completely shifts chromosomal. Their chromosomes, was it chromosome? The University of Boston did a study. We talked about this 5 months ago, how Black women scientifically we're shifting, our chromosomes are shifting just to be able to go up against the stress and the toxicity that we face. So we know why you're not going to get the answers from a conservative news outlet. You're not going to get the answers from a white woman that's not comfortable talking about or going into race relationships. If it don't apply to you, typically you're not very passionate about it. You'll give 2 or 3 bullet points, you close your book and you say, I did a good job. I was on ABC News. I gave them just enough. Black women face the compounding effects of both racial and gender discrimination in the labor market. That's why I call BS when these corporations talk about their DEI hiring practices back in the past before January 6, 2025, because primarily the primary demographic group that benefited from that DEI initiative was actually white women, right? So you have the systemic racism. Then you have the occupational segregation, where Black women are brought in as entry-level employees and never groomed, fast-tracked, or considered for higher paying, higher level jobs, even though they have the education and the experience to be able to do so. They're placed in lower paying, less secure jobs, underrepresented, and not even considered for interviews. Or sometimes, if they are, ask them, they're utilized as a DEI token. And they go through rounds and rounds and rounds of interviews so that corporations can satisfy the quota of stating that, listen, we had a minority, a Black woman in the run, but at the end of the day, we chose to go with what? A different candidate. I'd be trying to put you on to game. It works like that, especially if it's internal, because some of you are applying for roles internally or ask to apply for roles internally, and you recognize, wait a minute, I think they're trying to use me as a token. And because of the politics and the bureaucracy within the confounds of your corporation, you can't say no. I had a friend that I worked with in a corporation. She knows she was being used, but she had to play the game. She had to play the game and go along just to get along. A band 5, that's where they make damn near almost $200,000. We had a private conversation. She said, they're using me. I said, don't apply for it. She go, I don't really have a choice. I got to play the game. Thank you, Kira. She says, Queen Sheba spitting facts this morning. I love talking corporate. Outside of me honing in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience, corporate is my jam. I can talk corporate all day. So there is a reason why Black women are leaving. But you're not going to get it from conservative media outlets. It's taboo to talk about that. You're not going to get that nitty gritty. It puts a bad taste in the viewers' mouths. You get what I'm saying? Also, wage gaps. Black women earn less for the same work done by white men and white women, even with the same educational attainment. Most times, it may be the most money you've ever made that you're being offered, but let's be very clear. It's typically on the lower end of the scale as it relates to the pay grade. So you may say, I'm making 6 figures. They offer me $125,000. Yeah, but your counterparts were brought in at 167. They were brought in at 167. So even though it's the most money you've made, in many cases, you received the short end of the stick and you don't even know it. And that's why we host these conversations, to help you be more strategic in navigating corporate culture so that you can go in there and play ball. The fourth reason, another additional reason is discrimination in hiring and promotion. Black women may be overlooked for opportunities in leadership roles due to biases. And there's also a new bias they face. It's called, quote unquote, prove it again bias, where their credentials and expertise are questioned, and your level of expertise is questioned. Not only that, watch this. Well, wait a minute, make it make sense. Okay, let's just say some of you are degreed, right? You say, baby, I got my degree. Okay, so you're reading through the job description. Now you need a degree and a certification. You say, not a big deal, until you click on the certification. Hell, sometimes a certification is $10,000, $5,000. You say, whoa, you're done. And you must have it or acquire the certification within 6 months of being hired. Prove it again. That's the prove it again bias. I'm just telling you how it works, where the goalpost is constantly being moved to out-philosophize you. Or let's just say it's a rigged sport where you see these positions and it says you must have previous experience or 10 years of experience in a leadership position. Well, first of all, y'all ain't even hiring us, haven't been hiring us in leadership positions. So it ain't no way you gonna find a Black woman with 10 years of experience when you don't even hire us for that. That's another way to keep you out. You see it in job postings all the time. Must have, in addition to the certification, in addition to your education, 10 years of previous nonprofit experience, leadership experience, director experience, C-suite experience. Quit playing with me. It's hidden in plain sight, y'all, right in front of your eyes. You'd be like, oh, shit. Really? Yeah. If we know there's an explicit bias where they're not even bringing us in, occupational biases, right? We talked about it. I'm sorry, occupational segregation, where Black women are often concentrated in lower paying, less secure jobs, underrepresented in higher paying occupations. You're not going to get one that qualifies with 10 years of leadership experience. And not because she's not a good leader, it's because the game is rigged. They wouldn't hiring us in the first place. That means you would have had to have been in that role at least minimum dating back to 2015. Do you understand the game now? Some of you didn't even start making six figures until well into your 40s. When they're bringing in white women, 27, 28, into these senior director roles as early as in their 20s, establishing the credentials of being in leadership roles to be fast-tracked to CEO, CFO, COO. By the time she's 30, 32, she's up there. It's a race you can't win, but if you're going to stay, you better play. You get what I'm saying? I know it's a very technical, very complex conversation, which is why we host them on Wednesday mornings, right? It's just to open your eyes up and say, okay, now I understand where the pieces are on the chessboard. My next move needs to be my best move. Absolutely. And we've been doing this for over 2 years over here, walking you through how to do that. From putting yourself in a position to answer the interview questions, putting yourself in position to take control of your one-on-ones and not allowing your boss to ramrod you where you go into the meeting in your one-on-ones. And instead of them saying, this is what I have for you, say, oh, if you don't mind, actually, I have a couple of things, and how to maximize that time and take up space. So by the time you're done, there's only 5 minutes left. We've been preparing you over here how to ask for a raise and not beg for one, how to focus on enhancing your value in the workplace. And if they don't want to pay you, then you got to go. But what we not going to do is sit around, cry, and complain. We're going to get our shit, take our marbles, and move like 318,000 other Black women have done in the last 90 days. Now, let's be very clear, because we're very honest over here on this page. Black women did not start leaving the workplace 90 days ago. They started leaving the workplace in 2024. There was not, listen to me, this is why you got to know, there was not in 2024 this surge of job displacement, because number 47, what is Donald's 47? Hadn't even taken office yet. Be careful of fake news. He hadn't even taken office yet. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if Black women, actually they drop, because we thought, if you understand how data works, you need at least 6 rolling months, right? To even be able to tell a story, to compile data. They like 12, but they can work with 6. It doesn't give you the full picture, but it'll kind of tell you what's trending and what you can anticipate by the behavior of your employees, patients, or whatever, right? Black women started leaving in 2024. Donald Trump was not president. So you got to be careful. What's the real reason Black women are leaving? What's the real reason Black women are leaving? They want you to think of it as a negative and a fear tactic and say, oh my God, should we be concerned? Black women are leaving because they got their shit together and they realize I can do bad by myself. I don't need no help to starve to death. I am going to take my marbles. I am going to utilize what I've learned here and some of this good skill that you refuse to acknowledge. And I'm going to put it into practice and I'm going to put it into play in real time and start my own business, i.e., Melody Sheree. Another reason Black women have left the workplace is because of microaggressions and hostile work environments. Black women experience high levels of prejudice and stereotypes, such as the angry Black woman stereotype. And it has, whether she's angry or not, it has hindered their career progressions, and it contributes to burnout because there's this constant evolving cycle of you having to prove yourself over and over and over and over again. You're like a hamster on a wheel. Snatched by Diego says, Black women are creators and learning how to manage their own business. I love a strong Black woman, yes, and a smart one too, right? D farces, and don't forget, people have left the country too. Yes, Black women are figuring out how to listen. Let me tell you something. If you have the choice, if you ever have the choice between a high-paying job and restriction versus a pay cut and freedom, take the freedom. The freedom is priceless. If you ever have the choice between making the most you've made in corporate America, and you're going to be restricted with your leadership, your decision-making, your power, your authority, your creativity, take the freedom. The money will take care of itself. Innocent Instigator says, yep, I'm out here in the Northeast. I have to literally scale it way back so they don't put that on my name, because they have definitely tried. Chanel says, I love a smart and confident Black woman too. Listen, That's the real reason Black women are leaving. They know the reason, but it's just taboo. What do you mean by taboo? There's just certain things corporations and news outlets are not going to say. And not because they don't want to. It's just not popular opinion. It doesn't sound right. We're not the majority. We are the minority. They do not panhandle to us. They panhandle and they cater to the majority. If you understand the rules, it doesn't upset you. You say, all right, bet. Got it. That's what you saying. Girl, that ain't the real reason I left my job. I wasn't even in a public position. I left my job because they didn't pay me fairly. I left my job because I was faced with microaggressions and the work environment was horrible. Girl, I left my job because I sat there for 7, 8 years and never was considered for a promotion and damn near had to beg for kibbles and bits as it relates to a pay increase. Okay? That's it. And then there is some truth that the departure of Black women from the workforce in corporate America, it does have a significant economic consequence. But were they really treating you right in the first place? Let's talk about it. How has that worked for you, leaving? I just like to give y'all the real so that you can take what you need to have more of an informed opinion. Take what you need, discard the rest. Okay? Now I want to share, let's see, another video. Because it's one thing to give you the information, it's another to give you strategy, right? I want to talk a little bit about strategy as it relates to, okay, I'm here, Queen Sheba. How do I navigate it now that I have the information? Give me 1 second. I'm going to share it with you. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Let me pull it up. If you can just bear with me 1 quick second. Let's see if I already have it. Any questions so far? Yes, the emotional tax too. It takes a huge toll on our well-being. Yes, but Kira, I don't know if you were here 5 months ago, the University of Boston did a study and shared the results, and the findings were completely, man, it was bad. There's a chromosomal shift in Black women. Your well-being is kaput from the stress that most Black women endure in corporate America. Yeah. Bree says, and then we have to deal with them. Hold on. That's a big old mosquito. And then we have to deal with them stealing knowledge and letting others take credit for your work so you can use that info to climb the ladder over you. We've talked about ways around that too over here. So now let's talk about how to move forward in 2025 and also 2026 as it relates to these numbers. And are any of you considering leaving? Are any of you considering leaving the workplace or the labor force? And it doesn't have to be for a bad reason, but if so, why? I'm just curious. I'm curious. Hold on. Let me send this to myself and I'm going to share this with you. Here we go. All right. Let me know when you can see it, and I think we'll be good to go. Yep, I think we can see it.
Last person to speak. Many of us probably talk too much.
Hold on.
Be the last person to speak. Many of us probably talk too much. When you're in a leadership role, you may think you're supposed to have all the answers, but no one expects that from you. In fact, it's best if you don't have them all. Your job is to leave room for others to share their insights. I worked with a CEO who was quite introverted, and it served him well because he usually listened intently. He was able to formulate his thoughts, integrating what he had heard, and waited to comment until the end. As a leader, being the last one to speak also gives space for your team to share and explore new ideas without the need to be right all the time.
Ooh, ouch. This is about to hurt somebody's feeling. Some of us are fighting a never-ending battle because you got to be right. And you going to make them respect you. You can't do that in corporate America. Say less. Now, if you listen to what she's saying, she said as a leader, right? And for those of you that are tuned in, you may say, well, I'm not in a leadership position. Well, we dress where we're headed, not where we are. As it relates to corporate America, listen to me carefully. We dress where we are headed, not where we are. And I'm not talking about the clothes on your back. You need to be carrying yourself like that anyway. Say less, listen more. And when you do speak, I would probably say about 75% of the time, it should be in question form. Question form, not an affirmative, not a period, but in the form of a question that your expertise is weaved in. That's how you play the game. What? Hold on, wait, Queen Sheba. Question form, absolutely. Have we considered A? A is your answer. B is your second choice. C is your third. Let's continue. Say less. Don't hide yourself. Don't downplay yourself. She said some of us talk too much. And immediately when she said leader, some of you probably said, this doesn't apply to me. Well, where are you headed? Why are you there if your goal is not to aim and strive for the top? Let me play it one more time.
Be the last person to speak. Many of us probably talk too much. When you're in a leadership role, you may think you're supposed to have all the answers.
And I ain't gonna lie, most of us as Black women do feel like it's our job to have all of the answers. We do say a lot. It is important to us that people know, most of us, that we are degreed up and we da-da-da-da-da. Say less. Say less. Observe the room. It's a chessboard. Where are the pieces? Your silence is your observation of the chessboard so that you can make your next move, your next best move. Movado says you get tired if trying for the top when they keep moving the lines. Here's the thing. Sometimes you can be so deep into the thick of it, you don't even know the line is being moved because we're doing too much to try to prove ourselves. If you take a step back, you'll know the line is being moved before they actually move it. You get my drift? Because you're noticing what's happening around you. You're not fighting for survival. You're not fighting for recognition. You're not fighting to be heard. You're not fighting to present. You're observing. And the proof is in the pudding by way of the quality of your work. It's hard to get rid of a high performer. I don't care what your skin tone is. It's hard to fire a hard performer that have consistent results year after year after year. They may not pay you, but it's going to be hard for them to fire you. But if you start talking too much and fighting for your worthiness within the workplace, that can put a target on your back. Because in the midst of being frustrated, we're more likely to offend. We're more likely to become indifferent. Does that make sense? Snatched by Diego said, I guarantee you there are men listening to you, Queen, and applying this. Thank you. Thank you. And some people, well, I ain't gonna let nobody disrespect me. Then say it in your work, not with your mouth. Say it in your work.
But no one expects that from you. In fact, it's best if you don't have them all. Your job is to leave room for others to share their insights. I worked with a CEO.
She said, most of us feel like we need to have all of the answers. It's best if you don't. It's best if you, actually, I'm not sure. I was hoping you guys could chime in. What are your thoughts? Because here's where I'm stuck. And say less. I want to go to a different snippet that I have. And it was based off of the Innocent Instigator's comment where she says she's learned to do less. Can I say something? Your less is still more than what some of your other counterparts are producing and or putting out.
Bitch, stop getting to work early. No more 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour ahead of time. We're powering down to mitigate the negative impacts of workplace trauma for high.
Oh, did you hear what she said? We are powering down to mitigate, that's lessen the risk of workplace trauma. See, when you fighting to be heard and you fighting to get in there and you fighting to get in that meeting and lead the meeting and this, you are increasing the risk of the toxicity, the trauma, and the target on your back. The rest of us are pushing back from the table slowly, very strategically.
High performing Black women. So powering down means that at your lowest decibel rate, at your lowest rate of motion or speed, you'll still be outperforming everyone by leagues. So slow down, walk slowly, move purposefully and intentionally, get to your office, make sure you take your lunch. Make sure you take a break when that Apple Watch says stand, get your ass up and walk down the hallway. Stop overperforming, throwing your pearls to swine after we've already discussed this about the punishment for Black excellence in today's workplaces. So slow it down, power it down in order to mitigate the daily stress that you feel. And I promise you, no one but you will notice the difference in your quality and level and speed of performance.
Did you hear what she said? They're not looking anyway. They're not going to notice that you pull back, especially if you do it in love for yourself. The problem is we do it with an attitude. We do it because we want a mofo to know you didn't choose me. Then I'm finna, we doing it in love for ourselves. Self-preservation. We're going to power down. I'm going to get up. I'm going to take my break at lunch. Hey, I'll be back. You're going to lunch today? You never, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to smile. I'm going to get along well with others. They'll never know because they wouldn't watch it anyway. Most of us are looped in one bucket. Unless you have the privilege and the pleasure of working for a healthy corporation. That's it. That's all. I wanted to share that with you all today. Let me play that one more time, just in case the people in the back did not hear it.
Bitch, stop getting to work early. No more 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour ahead of time. We're powering down to mitigate the negative impacts of workplace trauma for high-performing Black women. So powering down means that at your lowest decibel rate, at your lowest rate of motion or speed, you'll still be outperforming everyone by leagues. So slow down, walk slowly, move purposefully and intentionally, get to your office, make sure you take your lunch, make sure you take a break when that Apple Watch says stand, get your ass up and walk down the hallway. Stop overperforming, throwing your pearls to swine after we've already discussed this about the punishment for Black excellence in today's workplaces. So slow it down, power it down in order to mitigate the daily stress that you feel. And I promise you, no one but you will notice the difference in your quality and level and speed of performance.
Whew. I'm going to let that linger. Because some of you, well, what do you mean they're not going to notice? You were battling with yourself. You were hustling for your worthiness in a place where nobody sees you. Literally. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Lady J says, I would love to leave. I'm mentally exhausted with my current position. Then leave. It's not, I would love to. I'm preparing. I'm leaving. Leave. Why are you dragging your feet in a place that is draining you of everything that you have mentally? Leave. The day you felt depleted, the day you felt empty, You should have been sitting down assessing. Is this me? Is it them? How did I get here? What can I do to change it? If I can change it. And what is my next best step? Leave. That's not going to change if that is the corporate culture. You got to go. Self preservation. And you leave quietly. You don't leave, you don't tear them apart. Your departure, your exit should come as a surprise. Nobody should say, I saw it coming. I could tell because you tapped out. I remember that time you got upset with so-and-so, and then you didn't want to be a part of the team meeting. Girl, your face on Zoom said it all. No, we're not doing that. We're not showing up to nobody's party and trying to ruin it. Because we also have to be responsible for how we choose to show up, right? As our best selves. That's on us. And if I can't show up as my best self, as a man and or a woman, and give you the best part of me as it relates to my work, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I gotta go in an environment that's conducive to productivity, positivity, and thriving. I want to be a good employee. That should be your attitude. I'm going to be a good employee, but I can't be the only one around here trying to set myself up for success. And if that is not the culture, then I got to go. These are talks you should be having with yourself. These are discussions internally you should have before you even sit down at the end of the year for an end of the year review to discuss your performance and or lack thereof. This is how you take your power back. This is how you establish responsibility and accountability in the workplace. As a woman and or a man, am I operating at full capacity? You know that right now. Actually, let's do it. Let's do it. Watch this. I'm going to put a poll. Nobody's going to know how you vote. Don't say yes or no. Let me do it. Watch this. Give me a few seconds and complete. Give me a second. Hold on. Are you operating? Let me write it down. Wait, don't answer. Hold on. Watch this. All right. I just dropped a poll in the chat. It's a real poll. And the question is, are you operating at full capacity in your current role? Yes or no? I think you got to click out of it and then something like that, and then click the poll and then give your real answer. This has nothing to do with anybody else. This is you versus you. You assessing yourself honestly. Nobody knows how you're going to vote. Tell the truth. Are you operating at your full capacity in your current role? Right now, we have over 50 votes. Tell the truth. Because this is about to be life-changing for somebody, if you trust me. This is when you get to a point where you can tell the truth about your performance, this is called a self-evaluation, right? Oftentimes we give that responsibility to an external source, and then you wonder why you're not satisfied. Are you operating at full capacity, men and women, in your current role? Are you ready for the results? Are y'all ready for the results? Here we go. There's over 340 of you logged in. Let me give you the results of what many of you have stated in privacy, confidentiality, your own performance. Thank you, Nene. Nene said, this is a great live. You need a TED Talk. P.S. Happy Wednesday. I received that, Nene. I'm going to start this comment. I'm going to open up my heart to receive that. Thank you. I love talking corporate America. Here we go. Let's look at the results live. 84 votes. 71% of you answered no. I am not operating at full capacity in my current role. I am not operating at full capacity. We got 88 votes. 72% of you said I am not operating at my full capacity in my current role. Now, I want you to do something. We're going to work this thing out today. We're going to work this thing out today because I want to leave you better than how I found you. I gave you the information. Now we're about to talk strategy so you can fix it. I want you to write this down. Capital letters. W, H, Y, question mark. Don't answer it today. W, H, Y. Why are you not operating at your full capacity in a job that you expect to be paid for bi-weekly, monthly, however often you get paid? See, you should always operate at your full capacity, no matter where you are. You should never step into a place where you're watered down or you water yourself down and expect a promotion, fair pay equity, an increase, performance bonus if you're not operating at full capacity. You know you're not operating at full capacity. So why do you expect to be paid at full capacity? You got to fix it before. So you can't be disgruntled and given. And when I say full capacity, I'm not talking about those of you that are quiet quitting. And you saying at 5, I'm done. I'm pushing back. I'm not talking about showing up when you decide I'm not showing up 30 minutes early. I'm gonna work through. I'm not talking about balance, work-life balance. I'm talking about exactly what I asked. Are you operating at full capacity? If you're gonna stay where you are in your current role, then you need to fix it. But first, in order to fix it, you have to know why. Gently Coy says, I agree. It's a good question. It's real. No, the why. You got to be honest with yourself about the why. Because here's the thing. And look, y'all know how I get over here. Danny says they don't deserve it. Then leave. Go to a place that does. Now, when you look at it like that, you be like, damn, I am responsible. Yeah, you are. Leave. Katrina says, when I sat back and observed the politics and bureaucracy, I scaled back. Then you got to leave. Because how long have you scaled back? You don't scale back on the work. You scale back on going the extra mile. What she named is, listen, you still going to do your work and you're going to do it well. You just not going to put a little extra seasoning on it. You get what I'm saying? So if they don't deserve you, that ain't no different than being in a relationship with a man that deserves you. See, your value and the way you view yourself should translate no matter what environment or what relationship you're in. It doesn't only apply to corporate America. You have to teach people how you treat you. So how can you turn that on and off and stay in a work environment that doesn't observe you and expect yourself to show up differently in your other relationships, personally, professionally, socially, and or intimately? Because wherever you go, there you are. No, Danny, I'm not attacking you. I did just answering, and I'm responding. That's what we do over here. I'm just using yours as an example. And just for the record, y'all, if you're uncomfortable with that, because you never know what comment I'll click. It's just a jar and get you thinking. It's just to get you thinking. So nobody has to defend their answer if you understand how we do this over here. That's it. That's it. I just wanted to give y'all that to get you thinking, okay? I'm not operating at my full capacity for whatever reason, right? But you got to be honest with yourself when you figure out why. And technically, it should have nothing to do with anybody else. If you're really ready, you cannot do a leadership role and blame somebody else. Because when things go right, you get the glory. And when things go wrong, you are responsible. So we also have to shift our mindset as it relates to us. I am fully responsible for me. Nobody else is responsible for me as a grown man or woman in corporate America. If I don't like it, and if it chips away and eats away at me to where I cannot fully operate in full capacity, I need to look for another job. When you stop using your skills, you're not as effective as you used to be. Kira says, Queen, that's a whole word. Wherever you go, there you are. Wherever we go, that's true. Katrina says, no offense taken. Thank you. She said, I'm still a high performer. I just know how high to go. I know that's right. I know how high to go. Thank you. Always be cute. She says, Queen, you were dropping gems this afternoon. I hope it's helpful. I really hope, y'all, we're in July. We got 6 months. And speaking of that, we're going to do a goal planning session. Let's do it next Wednesday night. I'm going to do a corporate segment. And then next Wednesday, we're going to do a goal planning session. You got 6 months to set yourself up for takeoff. To set yourself up for takeoff. And if you start today and you really get real about what you need, what you want financially, you got to be able to answer that question. Why? That is a good question. How come I'm not performing at my full capacity? And I'm going to encourage you not to attach it to anybody else but yourself. Because then when you get the full picture, now we can talk strategy and how to move forward. Thank you, Mary Faith. She says, your wisdom is incredible. Liza More Lies says, I believe I'm underpaid, but I love the flexibility of this job. You know what, Liza More Lies? I'm going to use this as an example. I love your honesty. I love your candor. Your candor. Is it candor? And you said, I love the flexibility of this job. However, I'm being underpaid. Listen, I'm going to type something in the chat for you. Look, can I ask you a question? Liza More Lies, this is great. I'm going to show you how to get paid. I'm going to show you how to get paid. Can you click the link? Watch this. I'm going to show her how to get a pay increase because she already has an advantage. She likes her job. If you can click the link, let me know. If you can't, that's okay. Say yes or no. I'm going to show you how to get paid because that's real. I feel like it's genuine. It's authentic. I'm going to show you how to get to where you need to be with one question. Okay, you can't right now. This is what you're going to do. Let me go back to your comment. I'm going to type it in the chat. Okay, let me ask you another question. Be ready. Be ready. Watch this. That's fine. You can't right now. Do you work at an hourly or a salaried job? Just put S, salary or hourly. This is important. Real quick, if you can. All right, perfect. Do you have one-on-one meetings with your boss? Yes or no? She said salary. No, that's for Lies and More Lies, y'all. I'm sorry. I should have been more specific. She said salary. Do you have one-on-one meetings with your boss? This question is for lie. Yes. Are they weekly or bi-weekly? Watch this. I'm going to show you how to get a pay increase in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to show you. I'm going to write it down. I want you to screenshot it. You have weekly meetings. Watch this. Watch this. It's July 30th. I want you to do and have answers for what I'm about to put on the screen. Watch this. This is what I'm about to do. In next meeting, highlight number 2. Watch this. I'm going to show you. Okay. Watch this. Give me a second. I'm typing it for her. And you can change my words. Screenshot this. In your next meeting, not the next one next week, the 1 week after next, the second week in August. This is what I want you to do. All right. In your not next week, the second week in August, for your one-on-one, about 5 minutes before your one-on-one, I want you to send your boss an email 5 minutes before your one-on-one and say, I have a few things that I would like to discuss in our meeting. And then you're going to say, number 1, achievements. Number 2, priorities. Number 3, feedback. Do not put number 4 on the page, okay? Number 4 is your secret weapon. You're going to go into the meeting. He or she is going to say, hey, Liza, more lies. Thank you. Da-da-da-da. Okay, I see you have a couple of things that you want to kind of lead with. You said, okay, well, thanks. Cool. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, whoever, for opening up the floor. Your achievements. Here's a couple of things that I've been able to work on in the past few weeks that I've been able to complete. Number 1, we got that presentation that I've been able to complete. I was able to onboard the new hire, so she's good to go, whatever. Number 3, I was able to, I got an email back from Jason. I got the deliverable. I sent that off to Freddie. We're good. So those are a couple of things that I wanted to make you aware of. Those are your achievements, okay? The second thing you want to do is tell her what you have up next. They're called priorities. Here's what I'm looking to do over the next couple of weeks. I'm looking to finish my certification, or I have a meeting plan with the sales team. I'm waiting for a final confirmation, and I'll be able to follow up with you after that. And then the third thing is, don't forget about my PTO. I'm going to be out of office, but I found a backup, and Somali Queen is going to be able to answer those emails for me. Oh, okay, cool. The third thing is, what are your thoughts? That's the feedback. What are your thoughts based on some of the things that I've shared, the things I've completed, what I have prioritized? Do you have any recommendations? Should I take anything out, add anything? They're going to give you whatever. Boom. That's going to take up the bulk of the meeting. You've highlighted what you're doing well. You're highlighting on, because they want to know what you're doing. This is what I've done. This is what I'm aiming to do. What are your thoughts on that? And then he or she is going to talk. That's going to bring you to the last 5 minutes of the meeting. They're going to say, do you have anything else? I've really enjoyed this time. Da, 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 da. You say, I do. I do have one question for you. Actually, it's a question and a statement. You're going to laugh. Say, I really enjoy this job. I really enjoy working for you. In full transparency, the pay isn't sufficient, and that's okay. But what can I do to bring myself up to market rate? And pause. She's going to say, or he's going to say, that's a good question. Let me talk to HR. If they say, let me talk to HR, they're buying time. You just put their back against the wall. If they say, don't you worry about it, I'll take care of it, voila. Or they could say, well, you don't have a degree, right? No, I'm just kidding. Or something about your education. And if you get this, then I can go to HR with that. And da 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 da. They're gonna do one of 3 things. Buy time by saying, I'm not sure. Let me go talk to HR. Or saying, don't you do nothing. That's my responsibility. I got you. Or 3, they're gonna give you something to do. Does that help? That's it. That's all. Somali Queen said, this is so good. They're going to do one of three things. You got 2 weeks to prepare. You need to and then listen, have your cheat sheet and your sticky notes in front of you. Don't go off the top of your head. You need to be pretending to look in that camera, but you're reading from your notes, okay? Of the things that you've achieved, the things that you have coming up next. Coming up next is just to satisfy a manager that's all in your business. We're calling priorities, but basically they want to know what you've been doing with your time. Okay, here's what I'm prioritizing next. Third thing is, what do you think about that? Tell me, what are your recommendations? Let me defer to your leadership or your feedback. Fourth, do you have anything else? Actually, I do. I have one more question. Well, it's kind of a statement and a question. Boom. Come back and let us know. Did they go to HR? Did they tell you not to worry? Or did they give you something to do? Either way, it's a win-win situation for you. Most of us have not because we ask not. Now you've put it on her radar that you know your worth, you know you're being underpaid, but you love it in this place. That's going to get her or him to thinking, fuck. If you are a top performer and you're happy, that reflects in your attitude. You're probably not a problem employee. They're not going to want to lose you. They shouldn't want to lose you, and they're going to fix it. Because of the way you went to the table. You didn't go disgruntled. You didn't go with an attitude, but you call that shit out and you say, I know it. And you covered everything else that you're contributing to the business unit to make them successful as a director and or a manager. And you're just simply asking, not for a raise, because she didn't ask for a raise. She said, what can I do to bring myself up to market rate, even though you know it's bullshit? And you are up there at market rate. But if that's the game I got to play to get my coin, then that's what I'm going to say or do. In Studio 5 said, that's it. Keyword. If you're a top performer and happy, listen, y'all, do not try this. If you are a problem child in corporate America, it is not going to work for you. The audacity. I'm telling you, don't set yourself up for failure. If you are late, if you know they don't like you, don't do it right now. Let's work on your attitude. Let's get you softened up a little bit, and then you get ready to go in there. Okay, but that's it. Lies and More Lies says, this is great. I love what you are providing. That's why I can't hit the link because I'm about to start back training new hires. India, boom! How many of them? This is what you're going to do. Here's my achievement. I was able to onboard 10. You need to name numbers like it's data. How many new hires? How long was the onboarding process? Is the onboarding process. So in 2 weeks, you need to speak to, okay, it's been 2 weeks. They're doing fine. Positive before negative. They're doing great. Here's some positives. Here's some concerns or opportunities. And the next 2 weeks, that's your priorities. I'm going to be focused on A, B, C, D with them. Okay. Oh, and I have told them before, this isn't my work title. So we don't want to talk like that. We don't want to be speaking, this is not my job. Thank you for the opportunity. We're going to always thank them. So don't do that no more. Okay. We're going to always thank you for the opportunity because we plan on spending the block to ask for some money for the opportunity. Y'all don't say that's not my job no more. Shayla said, I got to get myself together first. Thank you for being honest. Okay. Don't ever say that's not my job. Ever again. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad you trust me with this. You better hype it up. It's a big deal. I'm glad you trust me because that's a heavy lift. And I know it's not my job title, if you're going to say it like that, but I'm happy to step up and help. And then you're going to spin the block and ask for your damn money 30 to 90 days later. So stop saying it's not my job. Thank you for the opportunity. I know it's a heavy lift, huge responsibility. Thank you for your trust. Thank you as my leader for seeing that I'm capable of doing this. Wow. If I have any questions, can I come back to you? This is new to me. So is it okay if I lean on you a little bit throughout this onboarding process? I may have some questions. Can I ping you? Y'all better know how to play the game. You need to establish that this is a big deal, that you're being asked to do this, right? You're going to plant that seed, you're going to water it, and then you're going to come back and ask to be paid for it. But we're not going to say it's not my job. We're going to be wowed that we were asked to do something that's not our job. And although this is new to me, it's a heavy lift. I know officially it's not my job, but I'm happy to help. Thank you. And can I get that money? Yeah. I hope I'm leaving you all better than how I found you. I really do. Yeah. I hope so. All right. That's all we got today. And thank you, Lies More Lies, for just sharing. Queen, you were dropping gems of knowledge. I love talking corporate America. I love helping people win. I do. Your blessing is on the way, God. Oh, thank you. I received that, Mary. Let me read it all so I can. Mary says, your blessing is on the way, Queen. God is going to reward you. I received that. No, it's not a suck up game. It's not sucking up. Sucking up is when you don't ask for the money. So you got to change the way you talk and the way you perceive what you're receiving. Negative begets negative. It's not a suck up because she got to do it no matter what. I'm just teaching her and I'm giving her strategies on how to do it and navigate so that she can get paid to do what she's being asked to do. See, no matter what, you got to do it. Because if you don't do it, it's insubordination. If you don't do it, it's insubordination. She says she's sick of the game, but that's fine. But this is, I get it, but complaining ain't going to get you too far. You're just going to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. But there's some people that want to do it. There's some people that said, I'm sick, but in the meantime, let me get as much money as I can before I move on. I'm not leaving nothing on the table. And that's why I say you got to take what you need and discard the rest. But what you don't want to do is kill the vibe for everybody else. You get what I'm saying? Thank you, EL. I be trying to help. She says, girl, you're so smart. You're telling the exact truth of what is really happening. Listen, I've been working ever since I was 13 years old. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Since I was 13 years old, my first job was in a computer software store. I lied about my age. I was working in a computer software store with all white men that were college age. I was 13, but I was tall. And they taught me so much. I learned so much from them boys. It used to be called Babbage's many, many years ago. It's called GameStop now, but that's when they used to sell like SimCity, CD-ROMs and stuff like that. Me working I didn't know nothing about none of that stuff at age 13. And I just learned different personalities. I've been around people all my life. All my life. I can work with anybody. That's why I said, don't say it's not your job. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to work with anybody forever, but I know how to navigate and I know when it's time to go too. Yeah, it is draining, but you got to get in there. You got to learn the experience. And here's the thing, Chanel, you don't want to learn on your own dime. Oh, you don't want to learn on your own dime. What does that mean? Don't go out there. You have to consider the cost. A wise man learns from the mistake of others. A fool learns from his own mistakes. Don't learn on your own dime. Get in these corporations, learn it as much as you can, whether it's coding, insurance, carriers, payers, how the contracts look, how the networks should be built, and then you go and do it for yourself. Why would you want to learn that? And this is just a rhetorical question. Why would you want to learn that the hard way without any experience? Gaining experience isn't necessarily easy. It's going to be. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get some bruises and scrapes. but it's the best experience. Dealing and working with difficult personalities shapes you for the world. Some of these people prepare you for your next plight, your next elevation, where these people are light work on the next level because you dealt with the bitch back in corporate America that used to hound you, had so much disdain for you, but you were able to get through it. So that's why it's important to know how to be there in turbulent environments. That's it. And Emil says you have to learn to be flexible or learn how to appear to be flexible. Learn how to appear to be flexible. Because see, I still do and did what I wanted to do. Okay, sure. No problem. I'll work on it. I ain't working on shit. She's still gonna wait when I get off that phone. Appear to be flexible. That ain't my fault. But I'm gonna give her an update. You still gonna wait. I said what I said. You get what I'm saying? Now watch you wait on this PowerPoint. That's all I'm saying. This one, Precious J say, it's the opposite for me. I want to at least utilize my skills, but I often receive my discipline's perspective being dismissed. So you must have just came in too. Did you just come into the live, Precious? Because we covered that a little bit earlier. You may have, and if so, you want to rewind it. You may want to rewind it. But this, I hope I was able to help. I know we've been over here a little bit over an hour. Okay. So Girl What's the Tea says, I am going through this as we speak. I have a very difficult boss and I have had to take a leave of absence and I don't want to go back. Then don't go back. You should be the best time to look for a job is when you have one. You're on leave. How come you're not looking for a new job and interviewing? Huh? It's not about what you don't want to do. It's about what you're willing to do to get what you need. So you're on leave of absence. Take full advantage of it, right? Right now, you should be freshening up your resume. You should go balls to the wall the next 24 hours to get that resume on point. You should be applying for roles starting, what's today? Wednesday? Probably Friday. All the way well into next week. That's it. That's all. You choosing how you show up has nothing to do with them, y'all. It's you preserving your femininity so that you so that you remain soft as a woman and not hardened. Because once you start that negativity and complaining, that is a spillover. It comes to your homes, to your kids, to your relationships, your friendships, and it shows up. So it's the conversations that I'm having with you are bigger than corporate America. That's why we call it self-preservation, preserving yourself, seasoning yourself so that you last, not just on the job, but in your home, in your relationships. That you're still beautiful. You're still soft on yeah, it was a fight, but I still came out intact. That's it. That's it. All right. That's all I got. Any questions? I think we're done. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Hold on. Let's see. Yes, Chanel says, how I move at work is my own benefit. It has helped me to reframe my thinking. Man, let me tell you something. When you start to master yourself, it's a hell of a task. And it's not about being perfect. It's not about being fake. It's not about being sucking up. But when you become the best version of yourself, not the perfect version, but the best, can't nobody touch you too many times. I'm glad you put that in the chat. Thank you. Always be cute. She says, fantastic job, Queen. Okay. Oh, okay. How I See It TV. She says, Queen, I really want you to break down the Julia versus Gertie on the Real Housewives of Miami and the microaggression. Gertie facing over there on that cast. Anywhere Black women are the minority, we end up being abused. Actually, that's funny you say that. I just started watching last night. I'm on episode 3. I'm going to come back to that. You want to talk about it? I'm going to come back to that. I have a lot to say about that. I have a lot to say about that. Girl, okay, can I be honest with you? Can you come? Are you at work? Okay, y'all are okay. She is being but she's helping them. Okay. Oh my God, they're ready. Okay, I'm gonna say one thing and I'm gonna hold my peace until we can all come to a meeting place where we can all talk. Okay. Okay, let me just play it instead of me saying it. How about that? How I See It TV. Let me play it. Watch this. Watch this.
Be the last person to speak. Many of us probably talk too much.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Let me play it again.
Be the last person to speak. Many of us probably talk too much.
Gertie's talking too much. I don't think Gertie should be quiet. That's not what I'm saying. She has too much to say in a room of people that are not interested in hearing her speak. You got to be able to recognize when people don't give a damn about what's coming out your mouth. Gertie should take her marbles and deal with the people that want to deal with her. She has a Jamaican friend or island friend on there. Her friend was attempting to give her some feedback and she interrupted her friend. So Gertie is going to have to master herself in order to master Julia. Julia is definitely in the wrong. But in order to master Julia, she's going to have to master herself first. In studio, so you're right about that. She's going to have to say less and do more when it comes to that. She makes an easy target. She over-explains. She overextends herself. She has too much to say when it comes to them. When that white lady looked at her and didn't want to take her congratulations or how the kids are, I would have shut the fuck up and I would have walked off. Because what I'm not going to do is beg and crawl to see about your kids. You get what I'm saying? That's on you. Okay, let me get into it. So I'm going to save it. We're going to come back and talk about it. But I hope y'all enjoyed today's segment. That's all I have for you. That's it. That's all. All right. Thank you, everybody.